Okie dokie. All right, so quick one for today. Because we have a short class, we're going to go ahead and do linkage arm. Okay, linkage arm is pretty easy. I'd say it's probably the second easiest after hitch magnet. The one tricky part is that, okay, so we know that any dimension on here we're going to need. The thing is that this dimension, this 3.5 inch dimension, is the distance to the center point of these circles, where a lot of time people will make this the rectangle when the rectangle actually that we need to make needs to go through the middle. And it won't work if you have this line as 3.5. It needs to be 3.5 to this point. So we're just going to do this in 3 steps. We'll make a rectangle that is 3.5 long, 0.25 tall, and extruded 0.125. And we could do this all in one. Actually, yeah, we are going to do the long part and the ends in one move. And then the next part feature is just going to be the whole cut through. Other thing to notice is that the outside here, they give you a radius as the dimension. And that's because when it's finished, it's not a complete circle, but we are going to use the circle tool to make it. So we're going to need to double that. When we make the hole here, this is a circle, so they give you a diameter, so we don't need to change it. TYP just means typical, and that means that it's the same on both sides for the arc and the same on both sides for the hole. Okay, so let's go ahead to on shape. Let's look at, we'll go into our mini train part that has all of the different parts as tabs. And I'm terribly concerned that the people that are behind are completely missing this part, and they are going to have even extra work because they weren't paying attention when I explained why all the parts are in the same document. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, and this is everyone, whether you're faded and or not paying attention, gone somewhere else, snap back here. If you don't have your different part files as tabs in the same document, see me. Save yourself some time. Okay, so we're going to do a new create part studio, which will give us a new tab, and you can slide these around if you start to run out of space and they're, you know, sticking out the edge. You can move them. It doesn't really matter. All right, so we need to make the rectangle to start. Let's go ahead and sketch on, doesn't really matter, front plane, and we can turn off the visibility of our origin planes. Let's look at it straight on, and 2-point or corner rectangle is fine. Any size to start, and we want it to be 3.5 long and 0.25 tall. That is the main dimension of this. And then we have the 2 arcs on the end, except we're going to use a circle, and we're going to snap to the center point. Okay, if you zoom in, you can see you get a snap to the edge and it just sort of turns yellow. But if you get to the exact center point, you get that snap. You get like an extra snap. So that's going to be our first click. And the second click is anywhere so that it's bigger than everything. And we can do the same over here. First click, just make sure you don't snap it to the corner because we don't want that. We want it to be bigger than that. And the dimension we need is this, but times 2. Okay, 0.1875 times 2. We can actually put the arithmetic into here. 0.1875 star 2, which I think is 0.375. Yeah. So either one is fine. 0.375. Okay, and we'll finish the sketch there and do an extrusion. Let's look at it from a corner and make sure we get everything. Circle, square, everything. Okay, but we don't want to extrude it an inch. We want to extrude it 1/8 of an inch, 0.125. And finish that. We can turn off the visibility of the origin point because it's pointless at this point. And what we need is to make a hole, which is also on that same center point. And its diameter is 0.128. Because the part that goes in is 0.125. And if you were making this for real, you would want a little bit of tolerance, meaning like margin of error. And so 0.128 diameter. So we don't need to change that. We'll just make a circle, 0.128, and through just means all the way through. Like cut all the way through, and TYP just means typical, so both sides. So let's start a sketch on the front face somewhere. Look at it straight on. We need to get snaps to the center point. So we're going to do use and click on the edge and the edge and circle and circle while we have the circle tool and dimension 0.128. Nope, it didn't set. 0.128. Same thing over here. 0.128. And we can finish sketch and extrude and choose just the circles we made, which are this one and this one. And we don't want to add material, we want to remove. And even though 1 inch is certainly far enough to cut all the way through, still best practice to change the word blind to through all. Explain why that was at the very beginning of the year. But regardless, this works. And oh, I didn't let's rename this. Linkage arm. Linkage arm, and I think that's it. Okay, good luck.